Hi students, good morning. So in this video we are going to see our sixth poem, No Men Are Foreign. So this is a memory poem. So the author of this poem is James Faulkner Kirkup. Okay, No Men Are Foreign. So let us see about the author first. So James Faulkner Kirkup. So 1918 to 2009, born James Harold Kirkup was an English poet, translator and travel writer. He wrote over 30 books including autobiographies, novels and plays. Kirkup wrote his first book of poetry, The Drowned Sailor at the Downs, which was published in 1947. His hometown of South Shields now holds a growing collection of his works in the Central Library, and artifacts volume of poetry was and artifacts from his time in Japan are housed in the nearby museum. His last volume of poetry was published during the summer of 2008 by Red Squirrel Press and was launched at a special event at Central Library in South Shields. Okay, so James Faulkner Kirkup, he was born in 1918 and was died in 2009. Okay, was an English poet. So he was an English poet and translator. So translator means a person who translates from one language into the other, either in the spoken format or in the written format. Okay, so what is meant by translator? A person who translates from one language to another. It might be either in the written format or in the spoken format. So he is an English poet, translator and travel writer. So what is mean by travel writer is a person who writes about the places where all he visited or where all he traveled. Okay, a person who writes about the places he had traveled or places he had visited, or about their experiences during the travel. Okay, so travel writer means a person who writes about the places they have traveled or visited, or a person who writes about the experiences of traveling to different places. That is called as travel writer. So he is an English poet, translator and travel writer. He wrote over 30 books including autobiographies. So what is autobiography? So if there is difference between autobiography and biography. So if a person writes about his own achievements, his life history, his achievements, everything in his life, it is called as autobiography. And if someone writes our life and our achievements, about our life and about our achievements, it is called as biography, right? So he had written 30 books including autobiography. அதாவது நம்மளோட லைஃப், நம்மளோட அச்சீவ்மெண்ட்ஸ், நம்மளோட லைஃப் ஹிஸ்ட்ரியை நம்மளே எழுதிக்கிட்டோம்னா இட் இஸ் ஆட்டோபயோகிராஃபி. நம்மளோட லைஃப் ஹிஸ்ட்ரியை வேற ஒருத்தர் எழுதினாங்கன்னா இட் இஸ் பயோகிராஃபி. ஓகே, and novels and plays, and also he had written novels and plays. Kirkup wrote his first book of poetry, The Drowned Sailor at the Downs. So அவரோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் poetry என்னன்னா The Drowned Sailor at the Downs, which was published in the year 1947. His hometown of South Shield. So South Shield is his hometown. Hometown means his native place. Okay. So his hometown of South Shield. So where is South Shield? It is a town in England. Okay, South Shield is a town in England. So now holds a growing collection of his works in the Central Library. Okay, his hometown of South Shields now holds a growing collection of his works in the Central Library, and artifacts from his time in Japan are housed in the nearby museum. So what is meant by artifacts is an object which is made by a person, something which is made by a person, an object or a written work or whatever it is, something which is made by a person which is of archaeological interest. Archaeology na ungalku theriyum illaya, so which is of archaeological importance, that is called as artifacts from his time in Japan are housed in the nearby museum. So all this were kept in the nearby museum. His last volume of poetry was published during the his last volume of poetry was published during the summer of 2008. Summer of 2008 means during the summer months of 2008 by Red Squirrel Press. So Red Squirrel Press, it is the name of a press which is in Scotland. So this press was found during, that is, it was started during the year 2006. Okay. So his last volume of poetry was published during the summer months. Okay, summer months in April, May. Okay, summer months of 2008 by the Red Squirrel Press, which is in Scotland, which was originated during 2006 and was launched at a special event at Central Library in South Shields. Okay, so this last volume of poetry was published in this press and was launched during a special event in the Central Library, which is in South Shield. Okay, so this is about the author James Kirkup. So he was an English poet, translator and travel writer. Okay, now let us get inside the poem. No men are foreign. So what is the meaning of this title? So let us see the warm up first. Read on the poem to know why we must not hate our. Okay, why we must not hate our brethren because they belong to a different country or speak a different language. The poet reminds us of that how all people are similar and part of the brotherhood of men. And by the end of the poem, we get to know how it is unnatural to fight against ourselves. Okay, now read on the poem to know why we must not hate our brethren. So what is mean by brethren? So brothers belonging to different religion. So நம்ம pledgeல என்ன படிச்சிருக்கோம்? So all Indians are my brothers and sisters. So likewise, what is mean by brethren is brothers belonging to the different religion. So whatever caste, whatever community, whatever religion, whatever language they speak, whatever culture and tradition they follow, okay, all are brothers. Okay, all Indians are my brothers and sisters. So all are our brothers living in the same country. Okay, so read on the poem to know why we must not hate. So why we should not hate our brothers because they belong to a different country or speak a different language. So different country la irukanga, different language பேசுறாங்கங்கிறதுக்காக why we should not hate them, ஏன் அவங்கள நம்ம hate பண்ணக்கூடாது. Okay, why we should not hate them. So that is what we are going to, that is the title insist. No men are foreign. யாருமே foreigners கிடையாது. Okay, so the poet reminds us of that how all people are similar and part of the brotherhood of men. So the poet is reminding us how all people are similar, how they are same and how they are part of the brotherhood of men. So all the human beings, all the person living in the earth are part of us in living in this world. By the end of the poem, we get to know how it is unnatural to fight against ourselves. So in the end of the poem, we can see how it is unnatural to fight among ourselves. Okay, now let us get inside the poem. So remember, no men are strange, no countries foreign, beneath all uniforms a single body breathes like us. The land our brothers walk upon is earth like this, in which we all shall lie. They, too, aware of sun and air and water, are fed by peaceful harvest, by vast long winter starved. Their hands are ours, and in their lines we read a labor not different from our own. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep, and strength that can be won by love. In every land is common life that all can recognize and understand. Let us remember, whenever we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispossess, betray, condemn. Remember, we who take arms against each other, it is the human earth that we defile. Our hells of fire and dust outrage the innocence of air that is everywhere our own. Remember, no men are foreign and no countries strange. Okay, so let us see the line by line explanation. So take notes in your book as we see the poem, right? Remember. So the poet is asking us to remember. Okay, எல்லாரும் ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. Remember. What we have to remember, no men are strange. So what is strange? So strange has different meanings in different places. Strange na enna, ஒரு strange person அப்படின்னா an unknown person. Strange place அப்படின்னா an unknown place that we have not yet visited. Okay, so here no men are strange. So no persons are unknown persons. No countries foreign. எதுவுமே foreign countries கிடையாது. No countries foreign. Beneath all uniforms, a single body breathes. Okay. So beneath, what is mean by beneath? Under. So inside, under all the uniforms, a single body breathes like us. Just realize the reality. So எல்லா uniforms குள்ளையும், wherever they live, in whatever language they speak, okay, wherever they live, whatever language they speak, whatever culture they follow, okay, whatever food they eat, beneath all the uniforms, so under all the uniforms, a single body, okay, a single body breathes like us. So namla madri, they too have the same breath, they too have two eyes, they too have a pair of eyes, they too have a pair of hand, legs, everything. The same body breathes like ours wherever they live, in whatever countries they live. So, no men are strange and no countries are foreign countries. The land our brothers walk upon is earth like this, in which we all shall lie. Okay, the land our brothers walk upon. Okay, so here our brothers refers to the people living in the world, in the entire world. Okay, so the land our brothers walk upon is earth like this. அதுவுமே என்னது? ஸோ நம்ம இந்தியாவில் இருக்கோம், அவங்க அப்ராடில் இருக்காங்க, அவங்க அப்ராடில் இருக்காங்க, நம்ம இந்தியாவில் இருக்கோம். வாட் எவர் இட் இஸ், the land நம்ம வாக் பண்ணுற land எந்த மாதிரி, it is very same, it is very common, it is earth like this. இங்கே இருக்க மாதிரி தான் they too will be walking on the land there. Okay, so the land our brothers walk upon is earth like this, in which we all shall lie. So one day what is going to happen? So this is the earth where everyone will be buried. So everyone will be buried in the same earth. ஒரு நாள் என்ன ஆக போகிறோம்? Every person will be buried in the same earth. Okay, so from this what the poet wants to tell us, we are sharing the same planet. இல்லையா? So all the people are sharing the same planet. Everyone is working, sleeping, eating, feeding, everything they are doing in the same earth. Okay, they too aware of okay, so they too aware of sun and air and water, are fed by peaceful harvest, by war's long winter starved. Okay, they too aware. So they are also aware of this. So they look like us. So here what is the meaning is, they too aware of sun and air and water. So they also look at the same, the sun which gives us light also gives us light to them. The air that we breathe is also breathed by those persons living there. The water which we drink, okay, so all the foreign people also, they used to drink water in whichever country they are. அவங்கள என்னதான் குடிக்க முடியும்? They too can drink the same water with the same taste, right? So they too aware of sun and air and water. So the people, those living in the other countries also depend on the same sun, air and water for their life, that is for their survival. Are fed by peaceful harvest, by war's long winter starved. So listen to the lines carefully. Are fed by peaceful harvest, by war's long winter starved. So here what is mean by peaceful harvest means, so during the peaceful period they have good harvest, okay, and food products. So during the war period ennaagum, they will not have good harvest and the food will be very scarce. Purida? So are fed by the peaceful harvest, by war's long winter starved. So during the peaceful period, that is war illada period தான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்லுவோம், peaceful period. So during the peaceful time what will happen, like the summer season, the harvest will be good, okay. So in the harvest will be good, so all the people will get their food, they will be living a happy life. So during the war period, okay, during the war period எது மாதிரினா winter season மாதிரி, okay. So winter seasonல there will be scarcity of food, இல்லையா, scarcity of food. So all the people will be suffering due to hunger, okay. So during the peaceful period the harvest will also be good, they have good, they will have good harvest and good food products, so that they will be living very peacefully and happily. So during the war period, winter season madri, there will be scarcity of food, okay, the people will be suffering of hunger. So this is the meaning of are fed by peaceful harvest, by war's long winter starved. So what is mean by starvation is, starvation and suffering due to hungriness, okay, suffering due to hunger, பசினால வாடுறதுன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க இல்லையா, that is called as starvation. So their hands are ours, and in their lines we read a labor not different from our own. So their hands are ours, so they look like us, okay, and also they have originated from the நம்ம எப்படி நம்மளோட grandparents grandparents இருந்து வந்துட்டு இருக்கோமோ, so they too have the same ancestors, okay. And in their lines we read a labor not different from our own, okay, and also they will be working like ours, so they too will be doing some work as like how we are doing. Remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep, and strength that can be won by love. So remember. So the poet is asking us again to remember, they have eyes like ours that wake or sleep, okay. So they, all the people living in this world, okay, they too have eyes like ours. So here the poet is urging us to keep us in mind what the poet is urging us. So they too have eyes like ours, they too will be having the same kind of eyes which will be waking up or which will be sleeping, okay. So and strength that can be won by love. So what could be won by the love? So love nala edha win panna mudiyum inge poet solraruna, the strength can be won only due to the love, okay. So we can get the affection of all the people only with love. In every land is common life that all can recognize and understand. So here every land refers to all the entire world, all the people living in the different regions, and who are belonging to different religions, and who are speaking different languages, different culture, different food, different clothes, okay. So in every land is common life. So in every land the people are living a common life, okay. So we also eat food items and they also eat food items இல்லையா? We eat through mouth and they too eat through mouth. So wherever they are, the basic thing is same. What is the basic thing? Human being. Everyone is human. Okay. In every land is common life that all can recognize and understand. So எல்லாருக்கும் தெரியும், in every land the people are living a same type of same common life that everyone can realize, recognize and understand. Let us remember. So again the poet is asking us to remember whenever we are told to hate our brothers. Okay, whenever someone is telling us to hate our brothers, okay, whenever we are, so here the poet is disagreeing against the efforts of the military and the religious groups that is asking us to wage war against others. Okay, இந்த poet என்ன சொல்றாரு அப்படின்னா, the poet is disagreeing with the opinion. Okay, what opinion? So against the efforts of military and the religious groups that is encouraging us to wage war against our enemies. So why here the poet is disagreeing na? Because according to the poet, enemies ne yarume kadayadu, because everywhere the life is common and the people are same. So whenever we are told to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispossess, betray and condemn. So here you should understand this line better. So when we are told to hate our brothers, so inga when we are told to hate our brothers na, not somebody is telling. ஏன்னா இப்போ somebody is telling அப்படின்னு நம்ம மீன் பண்ணிக்கிட்டோம் அப்படின்னா, ஸோ அந்த somebody யாராக இருக்கும்? people of other countries-ஆக இருக்கும். Okay, but here whenever we are told to hate our brothers அப்படின்னா, when the war is asking us to fight between ourselves. Okay, so war, when the war is so what is the main reason for hatredness? War. Okay, so war will tell us to hate our brothers, but we should not do, because hating our brothers, that is hating the people living in the other countries, is like hating ourselves. Okay, it is ourselves that we shall dispossess. Okay, so dispossess means deprive something of your possession, that is like disowning ourselves, betray, cheating ourselves, நம்மளே ஏமாத்திக்கிற மாதிரி, cheating ourselves and condemned, it is like hating ourselves. Remember, so again the poet is asking us to remember we who take arms against each other, it is the human earth that we defile. Okay, so here the poet is telling us, insisting us about the impacts of the war. We who take arms against each other. So when we are fighting against each other, okay, what will happen? Many people will be dying out of war. No one will be there to take care of the earth. Earth take care பண்ண யாருமே இருக்க மாட்டாங்க. When we fight among themselves, so we will face many human loss, and also there will not be persons to take care of the earth, and it is the human earth that we defile. So what is mean by defile means like polluting the earth. We are polluting the human earth by war. So எப்படி வார்னால earth will be polluted means, so what will happen? Many bomb blast will happen, many destructions will be happening, many material loss will happen, many economic loss will happen. Okay, many human loss will happen. Is it or not? So many bomb blast will take place, it will pollute the atmosphere, everything. So apart from hating ourselves, apart from the human loss, apart from the self-destruction of the human beings, what will happen? It is the human earth that we defile. So inga human earth ஏன் சொல்றாங்கன்னா, the earth is carrying us all. The earth is for the life of the human beings. Okay, so it is like polluting the human earth that in which we live in. Our hells of fire and dust outrage the innocence of air that is everywhere our own. So listen, our hells of fire. So here hell is compared to the fire. ஓகே ஸோ என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, நீங்கள் பாட்டி தாத்தாட்டெல்லாம் கதை கேட்டிருப்பீங்க இல்லையா? ஸோ ஹெல் அப்படின்னா எப்படி இருக்கும்? ஹெல்னா என்ன சொல்லுவோம்? நரகம் சொல்லுவாங்க. ஸோ தேர் வில் பி ஆல்வேஸ் ஃபயர், நம்மளெல்லாம் கொண்டு போய் அந்த ஃபயரில் போட்டுருவாங்க அப்படி சொல்லியிருப்பாங்க இல்லையா? ஸோ hell is compared to the fire. So when there is fighting in the human earth, it will become like a hell. Our hells of fire and dust outrage the innocent. So what is the meaning is, so the poet is comparing the war time with the hell which will pollute the earth and also the human beings living in the earth. Okay, so here the poet is comparing the war time to the hell which will be polluting the earth and also it will make pollution for the human being who are living on the earth. Okay, and dust outrage the innocence of air that is everywhere our own. So it will pollute the air. Okay, and the air எப்படி இருக்கு? Everywhere it is our own. எல்லா ஊர்லேயும் same air is there that with which human being are able to survive இல்லையா? So it is like polluting the earth that will make our life very short. So air becomes polluted and life cannot exist anymore longer in the earth when the air is polluted due to the war. So because of all these reasons, don't wage war against each other. That is what the poet wants to say. Remember, no men are foreign and no countries strange. So adanala please remember, no men are foreign and no countries are strange. Can you understand? So this is about the poem No Men Are Foreign. So finally the poet wants to say that all the human beings living in the earth are same. So don't create war against each other because it is like self-destroying ourselves. It is like self-destruction of the human beings and also the self-destruction and also destroying the earth in which we are living. Can you understand? So this is the theme of the poem No Men Are Foreign. Okay, I hope every one of you can understand. So if you cannot understand, you can again you can pause the video wherever you cannot understand and you can again listen back. Okay, come back and listen if you have any doubts in any of the lines. Right now, let us see about the figures of speech in this poem. See, they have given the meanings. Condemn, express complete disapproval. So where we have seen this, that we shall to hate our brothers, it is ourselves that we shall dispossess. நம்மளை நாமையே disapprove பண்ணிக்கிற மாதிரி, நமக்கு நாமே லாயலாக இல்லாத மாதிரி. Okay, so that is the meaning here. Betray means defile, damage the purity, outrage, extremely strong reaction of anger. Okay, so here they have given comprehension questions. Next one, let us see the literary devices. Nothing but poetic devices, that is figures of speech in the poem No Men Are Foreign. So here we are going to see a new poetic device, that is transferred epithet. So what is mean by epithet அப்படின்னா, it is like a nickname. So already நம்ம ஒரு போயமில் பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா, complaining street. ஸோ ஆக்சுவலி நம்ம ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரீட்டை என்னன்னு சொல்லுவோம்? ஸ்ட்ரீட்டுன்னு தான் சொல்லுவோம். ஹியர் வாட் இஸ் த நிக் நேம் கிவன் டு த ஸ்ட்ரீட்? கம்ப்ளைனிங் ஸ்ட்ரீட். கிரம்பிள் ஃபேமிலின்னு சொல்லுவோம். அதுக்கு கொடுத்துருக்க நிக் நேம் என்ன? கிரம்பிள் ஃபேமிலி. ஸோ ஹியர் இந்த கம்ப்ளைனிங் அண்ட் கிரம்பிள் அதெல்லாம் தான் என்னது? epithet. Okay, so இதை நம்ம grammatically எப்படி சொல்லலாம்? It is like an adjective which is qualifying the noun street. Grumble family. Family is the noun. Grumble is the adjective which is qualifying the noun family. Okay. So, that is the epithet. Now, transferred epithet. Let us see what is transferred epithet. A transferred epithet is a figure of speech where an adjective or epithet describing a noun is transferred from the noun it is meant to describe to another noun in the sentence. Understand clearly? So, epithet na என்னன்னு பார்த்தோம். It is nothing but an adjective. ஒரு describing word தான் என்னது epithet. ஒரு nickname மாதிரி. Okay. So, what is transferred epithet அப்படின்னா, see, where an adjective or epithet describing a noun. See, the complaining street. The complaining street. So, here, complaining is the epithet. That is, it is the adjective qualifying the noun street. So, complaining தான் adjective. இந்த adjective தான் என்னன்னு சொல்கிறோம். We are calling it as epithet. So, where an adjective or epithet describing a noun is transferred from the noun it is meant to describe. So, இங்கே இது எதை டிஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணணும்? இந்த எபித்தட் எதை டிஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணணும்? ஸ்ட்ரீட்டுங்கிற நவுனை டிஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணணும். பட் அது டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஆகிருக்கும். எங்கே டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஆகிருக்கும்? டு அனதர் நவுன் இன் த சென்டென்ஸ். பட் இதை டிஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணாமல் வேறு நவுனை டிஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணியிருந்துச்சு அந்த சென்டென்ஸில் அப்படின்னா தட் இஸ் கால்ட் அஸ் டிரான்ஸ்ஃபர்ட் எபித்தட். ஓகே, லெட் மீ ஷோ யூ an example. See, look at this example, transferred epithet. He had a restless night. Okay, he had a restless night. So, இங்க restlessங்கிறது என்னது? It is epithet. இல்லையா? So, nightங்கிறது noun. It is describing the noun night. So, it is an epithet. So, இங்க he had a restless night. So, actually he was restless and not the night. Listen, இப்போ யார் ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ்ஸாக இருக்கும்? நைட் வந்து ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ்ஸாக இருக்குமா? அது ஆஸ் யூஷுவல் தான் இருக்கும் நைட் டைம். ஸோ இந்த ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ்ஸுங்கிற ஆக்சுவலாக யார் ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ்ஸாக இருக்காங்க இந்த சென்டென்ஸில்? ஹீ தான் ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ்ஸாக இருக்காங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ இங்கே இந்த ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது நைட்டை மீன் பண்ணலை ஆக்சுவலாக. பட் இதுக்கு பக்கத்தில் கொடுத்துருக்காங்க, நைட்டுக்கு முன்னாடி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. எதை மீன் பண்ணுற மாதிரி? நைட்டை மீன் பண்ணுற மாதிரி நைட்டுக்கு முன்னாடி கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. பட் ஆக்சுவலாக நைட் ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ்ஸாக இல்லை. யார் தான் ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ்ஸாக இருக்காங்க? ஹீ இஸ் ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ். கேன் யூ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட்? ஹீ ஹேட் அ ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ் நைட். ஸோ ஆக்சுவலி ஹீ வாஸ் ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ் அண்ட் நாட் த நைட். கேன் யூ அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்ட்? லெட் மீ எக்ஸ்பிளைன் யூ ஒன்ஸ் அகெயின். இங்கே ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ்ஸுங்கிறது எபித்தட், நைட் இஸ் அ நவுன், ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ் இஸ் அன் அட்ஜெக்டிவ் டிஸ்கிரைபிங் த நவுன் நைட். மிஸ் நவுன்னா இங்கே தானே வரும், இங்கே என்ன நவுன்னுலாம் கேட்காத. ஸோ வாட் இஸ் நைட்? ஹி ஹேட் எ ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ் நைட். வாட்? இட் இஸ் ஆன்சரிங் த கொஸ்டின் வாட். ஓகே, இட் இஸ் அன் ஆப்ஜெக்ட். ஸோ வாட்டுங்கிற கொஸ்டினுக்கு ஆன்சர் பண்ணால் இட் இஸ் அன் ஆப்ஜெக்ட். ஸோ ஆல் த ஆப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ் வில் பி நவுன். ஓகே, ஸோ ஹியர் இட் இஸ் குவாலிஃபையிங் த ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ். இந்த சென்டென்ஸ் வராமல் ஹீ ஹேட் எ அப்படிங்கிறது இல்லாமல் ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ் நைட் மட்டும் இருந்ததுன்னா இட் இஸ் அன் epithet, it is an adjective, it is an epithet qualifying the noun night. But இங்கே என்ன கொடுத்துருக்காங்க? சென்டென்ஸாக he had a restless nightன்னு கொடுத்துருக்காங்க. ஓகே, ஸோ நைட்டு கண்டிப்பாக ரெஸ்ட்லெஸ்ஸாக இருக்காது, அது ஆஸ் யூஷுவலாக தான் இருக்கும். who is restless? he is restless. ஸோ இங்கே இருக்க epithet எங்கே ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஆகிருக்கு? நைட்டுக்கு மீன் பண்ணாமல் ஹீங்கிற நவுனுக்கு ட்ரான்ஸ்ஃபர் ஆகிருக்கு. தட்ஸ் வை இட் இஸ் கால்ட் அஸ் transferred epithet. Can you understand? So now look at the definition. So a transferred epithet is a figure of speech where an adjective or epithet describing a noun is transferred from the noun it is meant to describe to, and so noun it is meant to describe ங்கிறது என்னதுங்க night, to another noun in the sentence. So another noun என்னது he. Can you understand? So look at the next one. In the lines, they too aware of sun and air and water are fed by peaceful harvest, by war's long winter starved. Here starved is an, so here starved is an epithet which is placed before the noun winter. இல்லையா? So winter starved. So starved is an epithet which is placed beside the after the noun winter. However, it does not describe the winter as being starved. So winter season பசியோட இருக்குமா? No. But describes the pronoun they. But instead எதை describe பண்ணுது? It is describing the pronoun they. So இங்க theyலேருந்து இது வரைக்கும் இங்கே தான் full stop இருக்கு. So it should be considered as a single sentence இல்லையா? So இங்கே winter starvedங்கிறதுல starved is an epithet, winter is a noun, starved is an epithet. But winter starve ஆகுமா? No. winterக்கு பசி இருக்குமா? winter seasonக்கு no. Instead in the starvation யாருக்கு இருக்கும்? The people living there. So it refers to they. So however it doesn't describe the winter as being starved but describes the pronoun they. Can you understand? So historically many wars were fought during the winter. While the harvest season was essentially peaceful, they refers to the soldiers in uniform who have to starve during the winter while fighting for their land. So winter season la war irundhudu appadina all the soldiers will be suffering due to hungry because there will not be good harvest. ஏன்னா winter season la ஒரு நல்ல harvest இருக்காது. So they will be suffering due to lack of food. So winter starved is a transferred epithet here. Can you understand? Next one, metaphor. So here all of you know what is meant by metaphor. It is a figure of speech where it is an indirect comparison. Simile is a direct comparison. The comparative words as and like will be given openly, but metaphor is an indirect comparison. The comparative words will not be given openly. So in this poem what is the metaphor is hells of fire. So here hell is compared to the fire, but the comparative words are not given directly. That's why it is a metaphor. Next one, repetition. So what is mean by repetition? I think already we have seen, I have explained about this anyhow. So repetition of a word or a phrase or repetition of some lines, words or phrases often in the sentence, often in the poem is called as repetition. Okay, ஒரு வேர்டோ ஃப்ரேஸோ லைனோ ஒரு போயமில் அடிக்கடி ரிப்பீட் ஆயிருந்ததுன்னா that is called as repetition. So what is repeated here? So poets often repeat single words or phrases, lines and sometimes even whole stanzas at intervals. ஸோ நம்மளோட பாட்டிலெல்லாம் கேட்கலாம், மூவியில் வர சாங்லெல்லாம் கேட்கலாம். ஸோ the lines will be repeated. எதுக்கு ரிப்பீட் பண்ணியிருப்பாங்க? ஸோ அப்போ தான் அது நல்லாயிருக்கும். இட் வில் பி அட்ராக்டிவ், இட் வில் பி இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக they will be repeating. So poets often repeat single words or phrases, lines and sometimes even whole stanzas at intervals to create a musical effect, to emphasize a point, to draw the reader's attention. எதுக்காக? ஒரு மியூசிக்கல் எஃபெக்ட் க்ரியேட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக, ஆர் டு எம்ஃபசைஸ் எ பாயிண்ட், ஒரு பாயிண்ட்டை எம்ஃபசைஸ் பண்ணுறதுக்காக, இம்பார்ட்டன்ஸ் கொடுக்கறதுக்காக, ப்ரெஸ் பண்ணி சொல்கிறதுக்காக, ஆர் டு ட்ரா த அட்டென்ஷன், ஓகே, ரீடர்ஸை அட்ராக்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்காக, ஆர் டு லெண்ட் யுனைட்டி டு எ பீஸ். In No Men Are Foreign, James Kirkup repeats the word remember 5 times in the poem to emphasize the serious message the poem has to convey. So remember நிறைய டைம் சொல்லியிருக்காரு இல்லையா? Similarly, the last line of the last stanza, remember no men are foreign and no countries strange, though reversed, is the same as the first line of the first stanza, remember no men are strange, no countries foreign. This repetition emphasizes the core message of the oneness, okay, oneness of mankind. So all the human beings are same. It is emphasizing, it is giving importance, that it is insisting that all the human beings living in the earth are same. So here in the sentence, in this poem, remember no men are foreign and no country strange ngaradu, and remember, remember, remember. So all this is an example for repetition. Okay, so next one, based on the understanding of the poem, complete the following by choosing the appropriate words or phrases given in the bracket. So you can fill it yourself. Okay, so this will be the summary of the poem, so you can fill it yourself, and also they have given the answers here. Okay, so in this video we have seen the summary of the poem No Men Are Foreign, and also we have discussed about the figures of speech in the poem No Men Are Foreign. Okay, so apart from this, you can find if there is any alliterated words, you know how to find the alliterated words, you can find it yourself. Okay, and I think there is no rhyming words here. So if there is no rhyming words, definitely there will not be a rhyme scheme. Okay, so hope every one of you have understood the poem summary and the figures of speech of the poem No Men Are Foreign. Okay, so this is a memory poem. You have to memorize it. It will be very simple to memorize. So thank you for watching. Thank you.